Pet Life Radio.
This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello! Welcome to the Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. I've got a very interesting guest today. You might not be able to see him anywhere because he's invisible. He's the invisible gardener, Andy Lopez, and he's come on our show to talk to us about the connection between plants and animals, what you need to know to avoid problems, and what you need to know to maybe help your pets a little bit along the way. So welcome to the show, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's my Elvis Presley voice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice. Well, okay, so you're out of California. I know that. And you give people advice on all kinds of gardening things. Yeah. Do you want to tell my audience a little bit about that, about why you're invisible, perhaps?
Well, I started I started my business in the 6th grade. By the 9th grade, I had 150 customers. I didn't get the name Invisible Gardener until 1970 when I got out of service. And went to University of Florida during the day at college, and you have to make money. So I was very good at growing already. So I did it at night. I would work at night. My favorite thing was to work under the light of the full moon, So I would work at night. It's cool, and the bugs are out. Everybody's there. We have a party,
The bugs are out. Wait a minute. Do we want the bugs? Aren't we trying to get rid of most of the bugs?
No. Bugs are... they were here before us. And they made
but I mean, I think aphids, and I think of all the bugs that eat my plants.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's because you were taught that way when you grew up. You taught to kill the bugs, kill that pest, kill. I tell people, I'm like Captain Kirk talking to Spock. Spock, we're not going to kill today. You don't really have to kill everything, and it doesn't really work out that way. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I do notice that there are lots of products sold, things that release things into the air, and products sold to eliminate things like wasps, which must be hurting the bees. And I know that we should not be spraying like we're spraying. So can you help us with that? If we've got something we love, some plant in our garden that's covered in in aphids or some nasty spider mites maybe that's eating away our tomatoes or something. And the same thing goes for people. The same thing goes for pets too, because they're like little beings. They're very small. You don't have a pet the size of unless you have a horse, or some other animal. But they're susceptible to the chemicals too,
Well, that's really true, because the cat is only 10 pounds. So it's almost like a little baby. And yet it walks around naked at really low down. So anything you spray is on it, right? And the only way it can clean itself off is to lick it. So now it's ingesting what you spray. So what can we do for these pests that won't hurt our pets?
Well, see, what I teach people is the law of cause and effect. You're going to find that I do things very, very different than most people. That's why, I was going to say that I got the name Invisible Gardener because I used to do instant vegetable gardens at night, instant gardens, and then one lady woke up usually the husband would hire me to do a garden for the wife, and the wife would come out one morning and says, "Oh, Invisible Gardener must have been here," and the name stuck ever since.
Nice. Okay.
But I was never really a gardening person. I did that as a favor for a person and do this stuff. I've never started as a gardener. I've always started as a teacher and always started teaching people the way things really work in terms of, healing, because it also works for the human body. Right now I'm talking a lot to people about the stomach, right? Okay. And the stomach, and what I tell people is that the earth, the soil, is the stomach of the earth. Just like you have a stomach, inside your stomach, there are millions and millions of little beings living in there. It's called a biome. And the stomach is really your brain. The stomach is the real brain of your body. It's just like the soil is the real brain of the earth. And I tell people, look, okay, so I do a lot of, people call me up all the time for trees, right? Because they have this disease or that pest or this or that, right? I was just talking to somebody 5 seconds ago before you called up. The guy says, I got a sick Monterey pine. I want you to come and treat the sick tree. I go, well, I can't do that. He says, why not? Well, you want me to treat your finger, but I want to work on the body. I ain't not going to ignore the body and try to fix the finger. It ain't going to work. And that's what you're taught. You're taught to spray that chemical on that bug, and you solve the problem. Not really. You're just working on the finger. The problem has not been solved. The law of cause and effect says if you keep dealing with the effects, you're never going to solve the cause.
Okay, so what do we do? We've got these plants that are crawling in bugs. We walk outside.
Right.
We don't want it to spread the rest of the garden.
So here's the thing. So what I do is I tell people, you're the one that's hooked on the chemical. You're the one that's hooked on this pesticide, not the plants. When the plants are being attacked by the bug, there's no such thing as good guys or bad guys. So the truth is that the bug's job, their pests that have evolved over millions of years, is to go after things that are weak and sick. Their job is to recycle them. So when a bug is attacking a plant, that tells me that plant is not healthy. Something's wrong with the plant. It's not the bug's fault.
Right.
It's the plant.
Okay.
And it's not the plant's fault. It's whoever's been taking up the care of the plant. Because the plant, it relies on us. Because we're Mother Nature now, see? Normally, it grows by itself, and all kinds of things happen in nature that takes care of the plant. But since we're doing it, and we're not doing it right, if you anytime using kind of fertilizer or chemical, whatever, and you're giving it to the soil, you're not doing the best thing for it. You're destroying. The soil is a living organism. I refer to it as there's the food chain,
Yes.
right? The food chain, right? So we think we're at the top of the food chain, right? Well, guess who's at the very beginning of the food chain and at the very end of the food chain? Make a guess.
The insects?
Oh, the soil. The living organism in the soil is there. It's the first gardener. It's basically it wants to have the best food it can get. So it's growing us, basically. It's really growing us. When we die, guess who eats us? It eats us.
That's
right?
Okay.
It takes
I don't
us
like
back
that
again,
image,
right?
but I understand. Yes, okay.
Right. So when you look at when a plant is being attacked by a bug, it tells me that bug, it considers that plant food. And at any time the bug considers the plant food, it's no longer really food for us. That means there's something wrong. Like the wolf. Wolf always goes after the sick sheep, right? It all goes after the weakest. But
that's true with some things like rot or decay. But when you talk about something like a bug that's particularly like a cucumber beetle, it loves cucumbers. And you planted your radishes all around your cucumbers. You did what the book said, right? Like that's what I do, because supposedly the cucumber beetle hates radishes. Okay, so I got my radishes all around my cucumber. And sometimes, some years they don't find it. Some years they find it. If they find it, they don't eat the whole plant. They don't eat the cucumber even. They chew through the stalk and kill the whole darn thing and make me so mad.
Now, why do you think it does that?
I don't know. I've never considered the psychology of the bug.
Let me tell you why it does that. It has evolved. It has evolved over the millions of years to go specifically after a certain thing, and that would be that plant, right? Each bug in the planet has associated with some plant or something else, because that's their job. You name the vegetable, and then usually some bug is associated with that vegetable, right?
So even when you do everything right and your plant is super healthy, and you look at it and you go, "Oh, I'm going to harvest that tomorrow," boom, it hits it. It knew it was right, and here it comes.
No, it doesn't work that way. If it was super healthy, that's the key word, super healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it looks healthy, it may not necessarily be healthy. That's one of the problems we have now. Us humans like instant things. We like to give it a fertilizer and make it green and grow and everything, but it doesn't exactly healthy. Just like in the human body, you may look healthy, but you talk to a doctor and he says, well, he has this liver problem and this kidney problem, or this is going on or that's going on. That's not exactly healthy. To me, what it means to be healthy is that you have all your functions working, all the trace minerals in your body. You need 96 different trace minerals in your body for everything to be functioning. Just one trace minerals you don't have, as an organ or some part of your body, some function, it's not going to happen. You're going to get eventually stressed out. You're going to end up having some problems. The same thing with the plants. So when the beetle attacks name the bug, right, where it goes after cucumbers or apples or peaches, or they all have specific reasons why they go, and it's always a trace mineral deficiency. That plant, it's always a trace mineral deficiency. And the way it works out is really interesting because I'm a genius. I know. It's just...
We're talking to Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener. He also has a show called Don't Panic, It's Organic. And we're talking about plants and pets. We're going to go to a commercial break and come right back and find out more about what we can do when a plant is sick or weak or covered in bugs so that we don't have to hurt our pets by the methods we use. Because, everything, even though it might say it's okay for pets, it's not ideal for pets. We want to keep the toxins away from our pets and away from our food. If you're growing food in your garden, this is important too. So we're going to come back and talk more about that. And Andy's a lover of music. So I prepared a little treat for him. I'm going to play that when we come back from break.
Oh,
and
geez.
Later on, we're going to add some music to it and send it to him as a little present, a little gift from our little party gift from the Animal Party on Pet Life Radio. So stay tuned. We'll be doing that next.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Dogosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Dogosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Dogosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, we're back on Animal Party Pet Life Radio, and we've got Andy Lopez on our show, the Invisible Gardener, and the host of Don't Panic, It's Organic. He gives gardening advice all over the place, including California, where they've been hit by fires and are trying to regrow things now. But sometimes, we were just discussing earlier, sometimes people like me think that we have a problem that's a bug when actually the problem is in the plant. So Andy's just been explaining that to us. But before we go to that, we're going to give him a little song to cheer him up today. Inch by inch, row by row, Andy Lopez makes your garden grow. All it takes is organic know-how to make some fertile ground. Inch by inch, box by box, Andy Lopez makes your garden rock. With Invisible Gardener Radio Talk. And don't panic, it's organic. Hey, so there's the intro you deserve, Andy.
I'm going to put that on my radio show.
Well, we'll put some music to it first, if you like.
I just have to be careful about the guy who wrote the song, because he will go inch by inch, hey, that's my song, right? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's pretty old. I think it was Pete Seeger. I don't know.
I had that song on my show, and the station that I do also turns it into. They publish it on YouTube, and YouTube send them a thing saying that the owner of it is going to get any money that I make from that show because it has that song in it. So.
Whoa. Well,
it could be, it's radically different, but it's still, it's close enough, right? Inch by inch, because I love that song.
I think it has to do with the length too. If you go short, you can get away with things. I think it has to do with how long it is. But
are you going to put music to it?
Yeah, we will. We'll send it on to you.
You play guitar too? You play guitar?
No. Mark is going to put some music to it in the studio. Our engineer in Florida. This is a Canada-U.S. invention. We're going to create something for you, Andy, and send it on to you as a little gift. So
what I'll do is, why don't you send me that without the song too, and I'll put some music in and send it back to you with my music.
Okay. Well, we can. You know what? We'll figure that out after. Sure. I'll ask Mark to keep that up with you. But right now, we've left our listeners hanging. They got a sick plant. It's covered in bugs, or it's wilting, or it doesn't look good. And they wanted to just treat the plant. But you're telling them, no. What do they do? Do they test their soil?
What I'm telling them is that first of all, there are long-term and short-term solutions. So something you've been doing, if you go out and you got this plant being attacked, you can't pretty much do the long-term solution because the plant will die by then. So I'm trying to teach people, look, so this is a result of what you've been doing for a long time. Usually I find 95% of the time people are overwatering. I tell people, microbes are not very good swimmers.
Oh,
and it's true.
Okay,
so when there's chemicals in the soil, in the water too. So that chlorine, bromide, whatever it is, it's in there. Fluoride. What did they add in it to the? I know they add all kinds of stuff. I have no idea what they put in the water, but I know they put something in the water to kill the bacteria. And guess what? The soil is made out of bacteria. So if you're putting that, so you're constantly, because the soil is constantly being attacked from one thing or another. So 95% of the problem is that, because usually what happens, overwatering disrupts, kills the bacteria in the soil. That means they're not there. What the bacteria in the soil do, their whole job that they have been, we have evolved from them. We were, if you look at it, the tree of life where we come from, it all goes back to the soil microbial life. And it took us millions of years. And one day we say, hey, I'm going to separate myself from the soil. I'm going to put all of my microbes in my stomach. So my stomach's going to have a moving soil. I'm going to be a moving soil. I'm going to get up and move, right? Right? Trees don't do that. Most things are still, hooked into the soil. But we and other animals, other creatures decided we're going to go be separate. But we still have the same functions. We have our stomach, our skin is basically a bag, in Star Trek they call it bag of, the human beings, they call them bags of water because we're mainly
bag
water.
Of mostly water. Yes, I'm very much a Trekkie, I know.
Yeah,
bag of
mostly water, right, exactly. But that's basically, we evolved. We decided to become a bag of water and move around, but we brought the bacteria with us, which evolved in microbes. We have our own microbes in our stomach, which is the counterpart to the
I have a quick question for you. If this is true,
ma'am.
Should people be filtering water that they water a sick plant with? Like a simple Brita or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what about people like me on a well? There's no fluoride in that, right?
Right? The well water could be interesting in a lot of ways because I lived on a place that had well water. I tested, it was like heavy. So they basically had a lot of minerals. I said, well, that's cool.
Yeah, very heavy. It's heavy with iron and all kinds of minerals. You can smell it. You can smell
and that's actually good for the soil because that's the types of minerals that the plants would use and stuff like that. It may not be, you have to filter it just for your use and stuff like that because you don't want, but in terms of watering your plants and stuff, they would love that any day of the week as opposed to getting sterilized water with nothing in it.
Interesting. Right? Okay. So that's one thing you can do. If your plant is sick, start filtering the water you give that particular plant. Give it some little advantage, right?
If your plant is sick, you have to say, okay, first of all, I have to stop doing what's causing the plant to get sick. So what am I doing that's causing the plant to get sick? So if it's in the ground or contain a different condition. So assuming it's in the ground, that usually means lots of different things. That's why people want instant results, but you have to understand what the heck you're doing, like cooking, you got to either know what you're doing or you're going to be burning everything up all the time. So in order to figure, you have to say, okay, well, usually what happens, my experience has been that if your conscious goes that chemical way, well, I'm going to go to the store and buy this chemical fertilizer. And they don't put chemical fertilizer in, if you're thinking that conscious, you should say, I'm going to go to the store and buy something good for my garden. So I'm going to get this fertilizer, I'm going to get that pesticide, and a fungicide, and a little bit of weed killer. Never, the word chemical or bad or anything doesn't show up in your conscience. This is what you've been taught to do. So that's your problem right there in terms of tell me what, are you organic in growing your plants?
Personally, yeah. And I use all kinds of crazy things like my banana peels and my coffee grounds and I'm busy in there. There's no garbage around here. I got chickens. I'm on a farm. So I'm a little bit unusual.
The plants you're talking about, are they your
eggshells, everything gets everything. In my case, it really is a targeted attack once in a while. Like spider mites will invade my tomatoes or a cucumber beetle will attack my cucumber. And usually I can do a lot with water usually.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, so on your farm, what are you doing for minerals?
Well, probably not enough, right?
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Nothing.
There you go.
I'm doing nothing except, I guess, in the compost and the manure. I give everything manure and compost, so I don't know if that's minerals.
I have some minerals. See, right off the bat,
I have chickens, so the manure rests for a year, and then I use it.
You have other animals?
Yeah, goats.
And what else? You guys,
goats,
lots chickens?
Of dogs and cats. And actually, we have to go to another break. But when we come back from the break, I wanted to ask you about the cat litter problem. Because some people want to compost it. And I wanted to know, I don't compost mine. I wanted to know if there is a way. Okay, so we're going to go to break, and we'll be back with the invisible gardener, Andy Lopez, telling us how to keep our gardens healthy and our pets away from garden pesticides. Stay tuned.
Hey there, pet parents. Michelle Fern here. You know, as busy pet parents, we often forget about our own needs, and we need to take care of ourselves so we can reach our goals and make our lives that much more fulfilling. Well, there's something that is there to make it better for you, and that's called BetterHelp Online Counseling. You can connect with a professional counselor in a safe and private online environment, and it's super convenient. You can use a desktop, you can use mobile device, and it's iPhone and Android friendly. You can also use a video session. You can use chat or text, whatever you choose. They hook you up with one of their many counselors. They have over 3,000 licensed therapists across the United States. These licensed professionals specialize in depression, anger, family conflict, anxiety, insomnia, trauma, grief. They cover everything. Now, Pet Life Radio has a special discount for you. You'll save 10% off your first month with the discount code PETLIFE. Go ahead and connect with BetterHelp.com and start making your life even that much better.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello! We're back on Animal Party, Pet Life Radio. That's right.
That's the longest break we've ever had,
I feel so rested. Okay, so...
I was going to get up and pee, but I never made it.
Oh, no. Only the dogs are allowed to go to the washroom in the Animal Party. Okay, so we're...
Look,
so
as simple as it is. Yeah, right. See, you got a farm, and that's great. I wish I was on a farm, too. But look, I keyed right into your problem. It was minerals. So trace minerals. If you're not putting them in, they're not coming out. If you have different types of animal manure, sure, you're going to have different minerals. But they're being fed. You're feeding them, too. But so if you're not giving them their minerals, where do you think they're going to get the minerals from? Right? Okay. And so it's a trace mineral deficiency. It always is. It always comes down to a trace mineral deficiency. I'll make it real simple. So why does a bug go after something that's trace mineral deficient? That means that if the plant is trace mineral deficient, it's different. Well, how is it different, right? Because when I was a kid, I said, what makes a plant different when something's healthy and when something's not healthy? What makes it different? It's the trace minerals. And what does the trace mineral do? So a friend of mine was a scientist, says, carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. Bugs love carbohydrates. I said, yeah. So what's different? The difference is that a plant or a human that has all the trace minerals produces a complex carbohydrates. Guess what? Bugs cannot digest complex carbohydrates. So if I was a bug and I'm looking at the plant going, complex carbohydrates. Nope, next. Oh, simple carbohydrate. I'll take that one. Every time. So, and then over the millions of years, specific bugs keyed into specific plants. They figured this is a good way for me to evolve and me to get my food. I'll key into that. See?
Okay, so is there, do I have to test my soil to know what it's lacking, or can I just buy something or make something or compost something?
When I was young, I I still do soil testing because a lot of people don't believe me. I said, fine, here's a lab report right there. You want to spend $300 and get a lab report? Fine. But I can tell you right off the bat what your problem is. And I stopped myself. I know that you have to do these things, otherwise you're going to have a problem. So if you don't use rock dust, you have to add rock dust to your compost product. You should add rock dust to your manure. When you have a chicken, horse, cow, you add the rock dust to it immediately, and the two work together. The microbes bind the minerals together, and then in the composting process and everything, eventually releases the mineral in a form that's available to the plants. And it takes a little while. What is
rock dust? What is this? Is that what it's called? Or is that a brand? No, that's
rock dust is just a genetic name for a form of rocks.
Rock dust. Seriously? Yes, okay, I've never even seen this. I've seen diatomaceous earth, but that's not what you're talking about.
No, diatomaceous earth is entirely different. It actually has some minerals in it. A lot of rock dust also have the silica, the same diatomaceous earth in it, this form of silica. And one of the things I do is see, rock dust is a genetic term for rocks. right? They have, you can usually, in the beginning, you would, when you go to the store or wherever you buy rock dust, it comes in a fine mesh, 200 mesh. It's a really, really fine mesh. You normally add it to the compost or you add it to the plants. And then recently, in the last 5 or so years, they've been pelletized. So they come in little pellets form, makes it easier to apply. Okay. And then I buy 15 different sources of rock dust, okay? Because each source has a different mineral content in it. Remember I said you want to have 96 different trace minerals. I even buy a product called C90. It has 90 trace minerals in it, see? And that's from the ocean, 90 trace minerals. So
okay, so that's something I could do. Like, because I usually do take kelp. When I go to the beach with dogs and stuff, I'll gather buckets of kelp and then I'll spread it in my garden. That's what you're talking about? That's a good thing?
I like you.
I like you too.
The kelp, you see, the seaweed should have minerals in it. It depends on the kelp itself, because if the kelp will have certain minerals, but not all of them, and that's one reason why you do the kelp. You have to be careful now because it's more radioactive and all kinds of junk in there that you really want in the ocean, Yeah, it's really kind of weird, but that's why I use it's called C90. Has 90 different trace minerals. I buy different types of rock dust, azomite, alluvium clay. I get stuff from Northern California, here and there, and they all are rich in different relationship to, like, for example, the stuff I get from Southern California is 30% calcium. Azomite is like 10% calcium, but it has a lot of iron in it. And but
the calcium we can do from eggshells, right? If we scrunch them up a lot?
Yes and no.
Oh.
Okay, so the calcium from eggshells will take you 6 months, a year, or 2 or 3 for it to ever be broken down, and it doesn't break out down automatically. You have to have the microbes to break down the calcium into a form that then the plants can eat it. So you just can't throw rock dust on the ground and go ahead, do your stuff, because there has to be somebody there to eat it. That's why you always add it to the animal manure. See, do you know why you make compost?
Why I make it?
Uh-huh. Yeah, why do you make compost?
Well, mostly to get rid of all the scraps in a productive way, right? I don't want huge garbage.
Okay, so that's what people think, and that's not the real reason why you make compost. If you knew the real reason why you make compost, you wouldn't have any of these problems whatsoever. You wouldn't have a single... People will come to you and go, what are you doing here? They do that in a lot of my customers' places. They go, oh my God, what is this place? It's like, I can't... Wow, everything's alive. Ants come and wave at you. Hi, how you doing? I
was once on a show with a garden expert and a pet expert, and we got a call from caller who wanted to know. She said, it's a terrible day. I have these peonies and they're beautiful and they're just about to bud and there's ants all over them. How can I kill the ants? And the garden guy was like, don't kill the ants. Don't kill the ants. Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. Some bugs, those peonies wouldn't open if she didn't have those ants. So some bugs you need, and you don't want to kill all the bugs, and it's tricky to know which ones. So it's a lot better to just boost the plant, right?
You don't have to kill any of them.
But I do find water helps me. Like if something is infested, I will use water or pick off the leaves that are the worst.
Water's fine. Look, when you kill something, you do it as a form of self-defense. When I was young, and then even to this day, I accidentally killed something. I say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill you. Like with the ants or certain pests, you just have to say, I apologize. I have to do it now because you guys are just going really nuts. Stop it. Hot water works really, really well. By the way, really, I'm trying to talk really funny now. You're welcome. Oh, I see if we're not live, because if we were live, I would tell people you can call now. I'm happy to talk to them about, people have pets and they have problems like humans do, and it'd be really good for them to get the help. Well,
let's go through that, because I sort of mentioned Diatomaceous earth, but I don't want to take that away from you. I want to ask you, I've done shows before where I tell people what they can use from their cupboard or their garden to help their pets. What do you suggest for people? Most people out there are having troubles with worms and fleas, maybe ticks as well. That would be probably the top 3 right now, spring, summer.
Well, I would start by taking a bath more often. If they took baths more often, maybe they wouldn't have that problem. What do you think?
The pets, you mean?
Oh, no, I was talking about the people. I'm sorry. I thought you
pets need a bath, but if you bathe your pet too much, they lose the oil in their coat that they need so much. So you don't want to overbathe, especially with the way shampoos can really dry them out.
And with pets, just like with humans, it's very difficult to immediately become really super healthy. Each animal, like each person, has an deficiency, something wrong in them that maybe they don't absorb certain nutrients right, or they're really stressed out for whatever reason. They don't get that mineral, or maybe they're not eating their minerals. So a lot of times pets don't get fed a good mineral-rich diet like they should give the humans. The dog food and cat food is not very good unless you know what you're buying. And even then you still have to give them, but that you can feed your animal diatomaceous earth, right?
Okay, so I do know that, but at the same time, I know that when I spread it on my chickens, I'm supposed to wear a mask because I'm not supposed to breathe it in. It's supposed to be so sharp that it would hurt my airways. So I've been reluctant to put it in their food because I don't know, there's something...
It won't. You can eat it yourself. Look, there's food-grade diatomaceous earth, and there's garden-grade diatomaceous earth, and pool-grade diatomaceous earth.
Oh, okay.
Which one are you using?
I don't know. It's for farm use, so it's probably the worst
garden
of the
grade.
3. Yeah,
garden
probably.
grade. The farm use
I sprinkle it on my chickens, and they love it. They'll rub into it. I mean, they enjoy it, but it gets rid of all their whatever would be fighting them.
Right.
All the bugs that go to chickens.
What I would do is set up a pan and put it in the pan. Let them use it they can go there and roll in it and stuff like that. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They have a little pan that you have to change it because if it gets wet, it gets soaked up. But the food grade, you actually eat it. And if you've ever been to, I went to a diatomaceous earth farming mining, and there are different grades. There are actually 2 different grades. You can see the food grade and the garden grade. It's entirely different grades. The pool grade is actually chemically treated, and that'll cause you health problems. If you breathe that in, that will cause you a problem. You're not supposed to ingest it. The garden grade, you can actually ingest it, but it's not really meant to it. The other one's more finer and easier, and neither of them will cut you up when you're taking it because it looks like fine blades, but it doesn't bother you. It won't hurt you at all. They feed it to the horses. You feed it to dogs.
Okay, so you feed it to your dog, and that will kill the worms? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. So you give them the food grade, and you have to slowly introduce them to it. Like same thing with the dogs, or a cat. So if you give them just a little bit, they go, no, I know you have it in there. I'm not going to eat it. So you want to give them a little bit at first, and then they get used to it. Give them more. You will have to maybe a tablespoon or a teaspoon. It depends on the size of the cat, the dog. Usually a tablespoon is enough. But you give it in with their food. It gets it into their system. It deworms them in their bodies, deworms them, but it also, when they're like horses and stuff like that, you'll find that no flies. It gets rid of the flies because it kills the fly eggs.
What about so I do sprinkle it on the chickens, but I also sprinkle it on dogs. Is that a use you're familiar with?
Right. So the diets. So when you can put it on, starting from the back of their neck, make sure you don't get them in their eyes, and you can just take a little bit and just dust them on them. Give them a nice dusting. I wouldn't do it so much with cats because they can reach all over their little bodies. But you can't do it with cats if you do it right. Instead of dusting them, you basically get the cat brush, a little fine, a flea brush, a flea comb, right? Mm-hmm. You get a flea comb, you put a little bit of diatomaceous earth into the comb, and then you comb with it.
Okay.
That'll kill them too. But with the cats and stuff like that, you should sprinkle it around the area. I would use the food grade for that purpose. So if they ingested it, it'd be perfectly fine with that. As a matter of fact,
I think your idea for the chickens with putting out something for them to roll in, I think that would work for my cats. If I put out a bowl of sand, they will roll in it and then poop in it. If I put out a bowl of diatomaceous earth, I think they'll roll in it and not poop in it.
Yeah, I don't want them to roll in it because they'll make it in their eyes, right?
That's true. That's true.
Right?
Okay.
Right. So the chickens, they don't really will roll in it. They'll sit in it and do this thing,
They spread their wings.
Yeah.
They look like they're having a grand old time when they do their dirt
You can give it to them to eat too. You can give them to then put it in their food.
Okay.
They'll eat it too. So the diatomaceous is useful also in the garden, for lots of different things in terms of controlling bugs and stuff like that. But again, there are lots of really simple things that people can do to help the plant. Because if the plant's sick, you want to help to feed it. You want to start feeding it right away. You want to learn how you do foliar feeding.
Okay,
you want to figure out.
I wanted to ask you about a remedy for dog owners whose dogs get skunked. Because in the past, it was always tomato, but it doesn't work very well. And then there's all these chemical ones from the store that work better, but they're chemicals on your dog. Is there something natural?
Obviously, you've never been skunked before.
Oh, yes. Oh, are you kidding me? Yes, I have.
Okay, and you've used, and so you've never used this one particular thing before, obviously. Otherwise, you would be saying, "Oh my God, it works so wonderful! I don't understand how it works. It's such a wonderful tool." But you're not saying that, right? It starts with an M, ends with a K.
I don't know.
Milk.
Milk? Oh, brilliant.
Oh,
Milk? That's fantastic. Oh, the dogs would way prefer a milk bath to a tomato bath or
a milk
to
bath
a chemical bath.
will
Milk.
first of all, milk is what? Alkaline.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard of it being used on mold and fungus on plants. Actually.
Oh, yeah, exactly right.
I get some uses for it. Lactic acid burns it or something. I'm not sure.
Well, the alkaline, then there are lots of other things involved in the milk has its own bacteria. The bacteria will tend to clean it up too as well really easily. And you don't need to do it in straight milk. 1 gallon of milk and 10 gallons of water would be just as effective.
Oh, my gosh. That is so great.
The rest of it's just a waste. And there's the same thing with plants. So if you have a fungus among us, right, you spray. It's usually, when you have a fungus, it usually means calcium deficiency right off the bat. And then calcium deficiency usually means magnesium deficiency. Magnesium deficiency usually means there's missing a variety of other trace minerals. There's always a chain reaction. It always comes down to these little exotic trace minerals. So you got to give your animals a trace mineral source, whether it be vitamins, minerals, whatever the pills, whatever source you can get for them. Otherwise, they're going to have problems.
When you said you've never been skunked, I can't believe you would say that. every dog walker, every dog trainer in the world has been skunked. My childhood dog got skunked, I think, 7 times in one winter. And you'd think that they would learn, but no, they just learned that they really like hunting skunks. They just really have a thing to settle, a score to settle, and they become experts at tracking and hunting skunks. I once had a mating pair in my front yard. Skunks. Yeah, I know skunk, but milk will help me so much. That is just great.
Here's the thing, too. So I used to have a dog in my youth, too, dogs all the time. And I was really bad. You think I'm bad now, but I used to use garlic a lot. And I still use garlic now. And it turns out that skunks hate garlic. Most wild animals who have very sensitive nose will smell the garlic miles away and not go anywhere near it. Okay? So I used to take a clove of garlic, cut it in half, put one in his shoe, and walk around with it. And I smell like garlic. And and no skunk in their right mind will even come near me. And you're still
married. Well done. I don't know how you managed.
Well, I stopped. When I got married, she says, "Hey,
okay.
You want to come anywhere near me, you're going to have to stop smelling like garlic because that's ridiculous, right?"
And there are no vampires in California, so would you knock it off?
No, they're in Malibu. They all moved to Malibu.
Did they?
Nice mansions, yeah. But the garlic works really, really, really well if you know you're going to be in an environment where there are lots of skunks, and you don't even have to do that to it. You can always just spray. Sometimes I tell people, okay, so you don't want to smell like garlic all day, fine. You can buy crushed garlic, make a little bit of a garlic spray. All you need is a little bit of garlic and water. Take a little spray unit with it. When you mist it, sprays the garlic. If you spray your clothing with it, you'll smell like garlic. They'll scent you, I would say, miles away. They definitely will. That's what when I lived up Deer Creek, I used to have mountain lions used to come around all the time. And so I would eat some garlic, sit there, and the mountain lion would look at me going, "I'm not going over there." I go, "Okay."
Oh, see, now we're coming to the end of the show, but that is a big question. I often get people who hate. Yes, I often get people who hate having visitor cats into their garden. And then I go, sometimes they're dog owners and I'm there for a dog lesson and they're complaining about the neighbor's cats pooping in their garden. And I look at the garden and it looks like a cat mecca. It is herbs and lavender. They may even have accidentally planted cat grass or catnip, and they've got all smooth surfaces and it's all south facing. It's like, well, of course you're going to get cats here. They sell things at the nurseries that are supposed to scare away dogs and scare away cats. I've never found any of that works. Like rue, for example, different plants. Anything citrus is supposed to scare away cats. Don't find that works.
I'll tell you
is there
something
anything that works to keep the cats away?
I'll tell you something that, believe it or not, works really, 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 really well. And I'm not going to, I think, send me $20 and I'll tell you what it is.
No, come on.
So bad. Okay, so coffee.
Coffee.
But here's the thing. Yeah, here's this thing.
Right.
Here's this thing.
Yeah.
Coffee beans. And here's the thing. Not just any coffee bean will do.
No. What?
No. It's called French vanilla.
French vanilla. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, French vanilla. Vanilla is toxic to a variety of animals. Cats would stay away from vanilla any day. And French vanilla, have you ever smelled French vanilla coffee?
Yeah, it smells very fake to me.
Well, yeah, it's got the vanilla smell to it.
Fake, sort of. Yeah.
You take coffee beans, you sprinkle them around your property, on the border of the property,
Okay.
They would have to cross, and the coffee beans stay for weeks.
Oh, I love that idea, because I do use my old coffee grounds in the garden, but I don't mind cats. I love having cats
Don't
in my
do
garden.
the coffee
I think
grounds.
they're great.
You already got the smell. You already got the coffee and everything. You use the beans. Just go to Costco and buy like 10 pounds of French vanilla beans and sprinkle them around your property.
But in my case, I actually like having cats in my garden. I
Okay,
think
then
I
don't
think
do
they're
it.
I mean, they keep the voles and the moles and all those little critters away. And when they brush and roll and lie down in the plants and all that, I consider them pollinators.
Yeah, it's fine. I
don't have a problem with them. Okay,
no, I never had a problem at my parents' house. The animals used to come around all the time, and my mom says, "Quit feeding the cats." I go, "Well,
I usually create a spot I want them to use, and then they just poop in that spot. If there's one sandy box that has nothing else in it, that's where they're going to go. And it just makes it really simple. But okay, so that's a great tip. French vanilla coffee beans. What about keeping dogs out of your garden, or keeping dogs? There are people who just can't stand it when the neighborhood dog walks across right in front of them. They're looking out their picture window and he lifts his leg on their tree and they're like, no!
When I lived in Hialeah, Florida, people used to come around walking by all the time with their dogs, and a lot of times their dogs was loose and they would run into the yard and pee on my tomato plants and stuff like that,
Yeah, nice.
So I figured, and I would try to talk to the dogs, but the dogs would go, yeah, I could do that. He said, let me do that. He told me I could do it. He didn't talk to him. I'm going, okay. So what I did was I got a motion detector, a sprinkler system that hooks into a motion detector.
That's a good one. Like there's
every time the dog would walk across, okay. Yeah, and that works.
Okay, that does work. There's a brand called Scarecrow, which I've told people about before. There's also something called, it's a bird house. Looks like a bird house. You stick it up on your tree. Your neighbor doesn't even know you have it, but it will release a sound that nobody hears but the dog that's driving you crazy next door every time he barks.
Well,
so that's the kind of new thing.
You do hear it, and a lot of other things do hear it too. So it causes... You may think you don't hear it, but one day you wake up, you found out you just killed your next door neighbor. You go, what happened? I don't know what happened. I was watching TV, and all of a sudden and blood all over me. No, you do hear it.
Yeah.
Unconsciously, your body hears it. It's an irritant. It depends on the frequency they use. Insects, birds, all the creatures will hear it. It's a big mess to try to deal with it that way. It's better when you're dealing with pets of any kind. They're very sensitive noses. Mm-hmm. So the garlic works amazing on a lot of these things. Garlic. That's one reason why I like coffee. The caffeine. Most creatures don't like caffeine.
You talk about throwing around garlic and making spray, but what about, like, I have a bed of garlic sort of strategically planted so that, I'm thinking it'll smell enough to keep everybody, it's in the center, right? Does garlic pollute things though? Like, does it make it hard to grow in that bed again? Other things?
Yes, ma'am.
It does, right?
Garlic has a chemical that it puts out that inhibits anything else growing around it. One of the reasons, but see, it depends on the type of garlic you plant. For example, you can plant garlic on the tomato plants, and it won't inhibit the tomato plant at all, and actually absorbs the garlic and protects the tomato from being attacked. That's how
that's very cool. It seems to be keeping the raspberries from encroaching, which is a masterful thing right there. So
right. So some plants will definitely keep away. You know, you've heard about companion planting. Well, there's also things you're not supposed to plant with other plants because they will inhibit the other plant and so forth. And there's a whole blend of things you eventually will learn to plant. I just throw everything up in the air. Whatever decides to grow together, that's obviously the ones who want to be together, you know?
Well, today's show is over. I do hope you'll come back again because I have a list of questions to ask you, and I only got through 2.
Okay, so. I'd love to come back. I like to be a regular, you know.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm probably gonna get that little bit I sung for you.
Okay,
gonna get that sent to you just as it is, but also put some music behind it and get that sent to you. And we'll book another show, and I'll have you on, and we'll play it for everybody when I have you on. So everyone, if you want to get more advice, you got to look up the Invisible Gardener. That's what you got to do, right, Andy? How do they find you? Invisiblegardener.com,
and make sure you spell gardener right, otherwise you'll never find it.
Okay. Can they look up Don't Panic, It's Organic?
Yeah, but they're going to find a bunch of other things besides me.
Yes, you know what? When I first heard you were coming on the show, I looked that up, and I got a lot of marijuana information. So I wasn't sure where we were going. So I'm glad we're in the Invisible Gardener realm.
I get sued almost on a regular monthly basis because these marijuana people say, you can't use Don't Panic, It's Organic, it's our slogan. And I'm going, look, I own the copyright to it. So.
Nice one. Yeah. Nice one. Okay, well, everybody, this is the end of the show on Animal Party Pet Life Radio. I hope we've helped you with your garden and your plants, and we'll definitely have Andy back again. Thank you, Andy. And for everybody out there, be good to your animals. From me, Deb Wolfe, and Animal Party on Pet Life Radio.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.